So on this talk, it's a great pleasure to welcome my great friend, Jackie. Hi, Jackie.
Hey, Stefan.
Hey, Jackie and I have known each other for at least 2 years, and we've been coaching each other through our intense transformations. And it's funny how the good news about friends is that we're not doing bad at the same time usually, and not doing well at the same time. And when we are, we celebrate. So Jackie is a life purpose coach, mindfulness meditation teacher, consultant. Uh, and Jackie also had a previous career. We'll get to talk about that. And today with Jackie, we're going to talk about living our emotions. We're going to talk about vibration. We're going to talk about transformation, all sorts of exciting stuff, at least for me, and I'm sure for you. So Jackie, maybe you can tell us a bit about your life story. Who's Jackie and how did you get into that work?
You bet. So I actually took a business degree because my family said that that's the way I would make the most money.
Yeah.
And I listened. So I was into my career about 25 years ago in a stressful, marketing role. And I found myself run down, getting back-to-back colds, feeling exhausted. And a book came across my path, and it was Perfect Health by Deepak Chopra. And it talked about meditation. And so I signed up for a transcendental meditation course in my neighborhood. And I have to say, it's the biggest transformation that has ever happened in my life. So they give you a technique and they say, start twice a day for 20 minutes. And that's what I've been doing for 25 years. The first thing I noticed, a boost in my immune system. I no longer got sick. Then I had more energy, more patience. And then I just got all into the spiritual teachings. I took a yoga certification, became a meditation teacher. I was so passionate about it. And so that's really what got me on this kind of parallel path to my business path. And I did that for a lot of years. I also became a life purpose coach. I got passionate about coaching and helping people on this path. And what was really exciting is that I had these two parallel paths. And then last, I guess it was in 2 years ago, my paths kind of met. So I discovered that the business world was ready for mindfulness and meditation. And so I launched my business called Business and Beyond. So bringing this kind of teaching to the business world. And I have to say they're hungry for it. So it's really awesome.
It's amazing how many of my friends started their life in traditional business and marketing, and they all came out of it and through intense stress. And it's funny because it makes me reflect sometimes, how much of marketing is actually conscious, because we're trying to sell things to people. So the good news is you got out of it, and now you're helping people transform their lives and bring more well-being, more presence, more joy.
Yeah.
And so maybe we can talk about emotions, because I think it's at the core of what you wanted to talk about today. And I think I'm really, really interested. And I want to compare notes, to what I've been doing to heal myself. And so maybe start with that. What's the importance of living our emotions, and why even worry about that? Aren't people usually living their emotions?
Yes. So I've become very passionate about emotions recently. And one of the things I used to teach is just affirmations. I am healthy, I am wealthy, whatever, just repeating these affirmations. Yeah. And what I've come to believe strongly is that it's not the words that we're repeating, it's the feelings that we're bringing to them. So we live in a vibrational world. We're all energy beings and we're all connected with energy. And when we vibrate at certain frequencies, that's what we're attracting. Mm-hmm. So if we're at the low frequencies, we're attracting challenges in our life, we're attracting stress, disease, whatever. If we're vibrating at higher levels, we're attracting more health, more joy, more love in our life. So the importance of really getting in tune with our emotions and having emotional intelligence is crucial, so that we can see where we're vibrating and what is our point of attraction, because our vibration is our point of attraction.
So, there's a quote I often use, your vibe attracts your tribe, but it also attracts events to you. So is it possible that as we walk around in life, what we face is a reflection of who we are? and maybe some of the things we need to overcome to maybe, if we face difficult people, if we face difficult situation and things don't seem to work out, and you and I have talked about that in each of our lives, as we try to make a success of our entrepreneurship. Often, most often than not, it's a reflection of who we are.
Yes. And I believe that whatever we're running into, whatever the challenge is, it is purposeful in some way. So if we're running up against somebody that's a really difficult person to work with, well, maybe we're being challenged to work on our patience or our non-judgment. And again, we have to be in touch with our emotions in order to know that we're not being patient or we're getting mad easily. Because a lot of people get so caught up in knee-jerk reactions, they don't even realize that they're mad or that they're yelling or whatever. So yes, I think everything that we're challenged with is purposeful. And the more in touch we can be with our emotions and what we're vibrating, what we're bringing to the situation, the more we're going to progress, the quicker we're going to progress through these lessons that we're learning.
So Jackie, you've been using the word purpose a lot since we started to talk, and you're a certified life purpose coach. So what is the life purpose for someone that doesn't know? And how does one go about finding it?
Great questions. So I believe that we all have a unique purpose, and it's basically taking our gifts and our talents and our life experiences and saying, how can we contribute in the most meaningful way to make a difference in the world? And contribution it's like a fundamental human need in order to find fulfillment.
Okay.
So it's really finding our best way of contributing and finding fulfillment in life.
So you talked about contributing. So it occurs to me as we walk around in this life in our modern society, there's a lot more people that are, moving around and say, what's for me? I want this, I want that, and it sounds to me that finding our purpose is quite different than that. You talked about contribution. So what is the major shift that people do when they go from their ego base, I want more money, I want a new car, I want a new handbag or new watch, to I want to contribute, and what usually triggers this shift?
Great question. So we've talked before about the sort of 40 years of ambition and then the next 40 years of contribution. So there is developmentally a path that humans go on in terms of the age and our experiences. We generally tend to evolve from more ego-driven beings. And when we get most of our basic needs met and we've had a certain level of success in our career, we start looking for more. So that's often when people say, I've reached the top, but, I thought there'd be more, more fulfillment, more joy, a greater feeling of participating in something bigger. So that's one way people can kind of hit a plateau in their career and say, I thought I could do more. Another way is a big event, cancer diagnosis, an accident, somebody close to them passing away. So those big life events causes people to slow down and say, okay, why am I really here? And there's an end point. And what do I want to do with the time between now and that end point? And people get more serious about what they're actually meant to do in this lifetime.
So these life events that you talk about, it seems like their purpose is to kind of shake us up,
Yes.
to maybe go on a different path.
Yes, that I see that a lot.
Yeah, is it possible that very often we resist these life signs, because it's scary to shift path?
Yes, I like the Dan Millman in his Peaceful Warrior talks about that we get signs from the universe, and the pain is the way the universe gets our attention. So if we don't learn the easy lessons, they get harder until we learn the lesson.
Yeah, I often say life nudges us in the right direction, and if we don't listen, the nudging gets a bit more violent. It's a big kick in the ass. You talked about, sorry?
You asked how people find their purpose.
Yeah.
And some actually, when they get that big nudge or a disease or a death, something they go through in that experience touches them so much that they become passionate about sharing it in the world. So that's often the way people find their purpose. is they just become passionate about something, and you know it's purposeful to you if you like wake up and you just want so much to share what you've learned. You want to help people because you've been helped in a certain way. That's a great sign that you're on your purpose path.
Mm. You talked before about vibrations, that our life is a reflection of our own vibration. Yeah, I get up in the morning and I want, to raise my vibration. What should I do?
Gratitude is a great place to start. I also have this practice that I just bring feelings of joy and abundance and energy into my body for, I don't know if you know Abraham, the teachings of Abraham through Esther Hicks. So they say 17 seconds of thinking about something and vibrating that frequency starts to attract other thoughts like that, other thoughts and feelings. 1 minute and 8 seconds actually starts the manifestation. It starts the process of aligning with that energy. So that's how I start my day, with that 1 minute and 8 seconds of high vibration.
So what do you do exactly? So you meditate for a minute with a positive intention, or?
Do you want to do it? Do you want to experience it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So I usually meditate first, and that gets you in a nice mood for this. So I'm going to set my timer I'm going to look at it for 1:08. Okay, so it's really about having fun with vibrations in our body. So I'm just going to go. I'm totally winging it, but let's just have fun with it. You game? All right. Okay, so I want you to feel joy in your body. I want you to feel joy in every cell in your body. I want you to think about vibrating gratitude and energy and abundance. I want you to feel abundance in every cell throughout your body. I want you to feel like you're radiating it. It's permeating you. It's all around you and inside you. Feel this sense of joy and love and gratitude and abundance moving through you, energizing your body, uplifting you. Feel a sense of energy and love and joy and vibration. Yes, feel it now all through your body. Uplift your emotions. Get as high as you can in terms of joy and love and peace and abundance. This is an abundant world. Feel it. That energy lasting throughout the day. Your whole body feeling energized and alive. Those feelings of gratitude for all that you have, all that is great in this world. And feelings of abundance of connections, abundance of friends, abundance of clients, abundance of all that you want so much. Woo! That is our 1:08 of high vibration.
So someone that does it on their own would obviously not talk to themselves. They would just.
They'd be thinking those thoughts, but you really if you're watching me, you have to, move, you have to really embody it. And that's what we're talking about here today is embodiment, right?
Yeah. So if you want something to happen, you don't pray for it. You exercise gratitude as if it's already happened.
Yes, gratitude is great, and just bringing the feeling. So if you want, for instance, to be asked to speak at a conference that's coming up, think about how you would feel getting that phone call. Yes, I got it. This is brilliant. I wanted this for so long. I'm so excited about that. That's what you want to bring. You want to bring those feelings, the acting as if it's already happened.
Wow, that's cool.
And you want to exaggerate it. You want to feel like you're creating this new memory. It's a memory of the future.
So by doing that, we're getting our whole body, our psyche, our soul, our cells excited for all that, Yes. So priming ourselves for a good day.
Yes.
Yeah. This is what helps you to go in a space of gratitude, Jackie, because life, is full of challenges. There's challenges in our work front, there's challenges at home, there's challenges in society.
Yeah.
But we can choose to pick on what's wrong or choose to pick on what's right. And if we look for either, we'll find an abundance of it.
Yes.
So how do you get into that space? And the 1 minute and 8 seconds is okay. it's
Mhm.
fantastic.
Yeah.
But by 10 o'clock you face a problem, and I didn't expect that. So how do
Yes.
you keep being in this high vibration throughout the whole day?
Um, I think that my meditative practice has helped
Yeah.
me step back and be the observer
Okay.
more than getting caught up in the situations.
Yeah.
So I can observe myself having the feelings. I can observe, oh, I'm getting frustrated, I'm getting impatient. And then I can decide, okay, no, I'm going to learn from this. Or no, how can I see this differently? How can I see this as part of my learning? What am I meant to learn? And I always say to people, instead of asking why as a victim, ask
Mm,
why as a curious observer. Oh,
yeah.
why could this, what does this meant? Why did I get challenged or triggered by that person? Why did I get
Mm,
pulled into this dynamic? And really move from that victim to that curious, conscious observer, just eager to learn. And
mm,
honestly, I said in terms of the life purpose, you're sharing your gifts and your talents. I have to say that one of the things that comes easily to me is helping people shift from looking at something in a negative way to seeing it in a whole different light.
mm.
So I try and apply that, to situations when they come up in my life. It's a lot easier to do it when you're coaching others, but I also try
Yeah.
to
Yeah. Yeah.
apply it to
But
myself.
it's a matter of perspective. I tell people a lot. My son used to play hockey as a goalie, and he was always mad when he got a goal until the professional coach said, on average, in the hockey league, in the professional, they get 2.2 goals a game. So shake
Yeah.
it off. If you'll get five, you'll get zero. Don't get upset every time you get a goal. Your job is to stop the puck. So it's all relative.
Yes.
And I find that in our lives, and we do it too, when I'm tired, when I'm not in the right vibration,
Mhm.
things have a tendency to escalate much faster. When I'm really calm and peaceful, and then
Mhm.
it happens, but it's not the end of the world. And I think most of what happens in our life is not the end of the world, but we treat it like it is. You know.
Yeah.
So Jackie, a personal question. We're all transforming, and you and I talk often. So, what has been your biggest breakthrough in 19?
Well, I think the biggest in 2019 was my breakthrough around self-care and wellness. I really was in a position often that I was feeling badly for wanting to care for myself
Yeah.
in terms of my diet, non-gluten, not, I can't eat garlic. I don't want to drink much. I want to get to bed on time. And all these things I felt like were some sort of burden that I was carrying and kind of sharing with my family or friends. And at some point I just stepped into, no, I need to own wellness. It's an important part of who I am, and self-care is what I want to mentor people on. That's what I want to represent. It's so me that it was like I wasn't owning that part of me.
Mm.
And
It's like
once
you
I
always felt guilty. Mm.
exactly, yeah. And once I started saying, no, you know what? It's important for me to be true to who I am and not be so concerned about how it affects everybody, because when I'm true to who I am, then I bring an uplifting energy to
Mm.
people. So I don't think it's
Mm.
selfish, but it's stepping into a different kind of authenticity and being okay with taking care of my needs.
Well, when we think about it, to bring the best version of ourselves, there needs to be maintenance, self-care, downtime.
Yeah.
Most of us have a car that spends most of its life parked somewhere.
Mm.
You know, like an airplane. I used to build airplanes, and they're not made to fly every single day and every
Mm-hmm.
hour. But we think we're supposed. At least I think I'm supposed to run. This weekend, I just to show. It's funny because I was telling you before, my phone is 2 years old, but it's supposedly kaput now. And the guy said, he looked at my battery. He says, "Your battery is worn out." I said, "Why?" It depends on your usage. I'm a human. But he said, "You've recharged it 4 times more than the average person. So you've used your phone 4 times more than the average person." I said, "Yeah, that reflects me."
Yeah.
So there's a few of us who always feel the need to go, 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 go. And as you know, for me, self-care is also part of my, embodiment and stuff. Um, how, you gave us a good trick, the minute and 8 seconds. I mean, no one doesn't have 1 minute and 8 seconds. We waste more than that just complaining about life. What other practices would you recommend to people to self-care, and a topic of self-care, managing their emotions, just being the best versions of themselves?
Well, we talked about gratitude. So
Yeah.
either a morning or an evening specific, like an intentional gratitude practice. And then of course, any time during the day when you can stop and be thankful for all the little small things, that's wonderful. Meditation is a passion of mine. So I think that, again, we can all find 5 or 10 minutes a day to meditate. I was taught 20 minutes is ideal, but what I preach is 5 minutes is really making a significant difference in your life. So find that 5 minutes. And then, just breathing and staying grounded between activities. Just put both feet on the floor and take a few slow, conscious breaths. I have another grounding activity that I do, and it's just, focusing on your feet on the ground, your butt on the chair, your straight back, and take a couple breaths, just feeling your whole body. And that, again, it takes about 60 seconds, but you've just grounded yourself and you've cleared your head and you're ready to focus and move on with a good, calm demeanor.
It's funny how people that work in offices and business and organizations think that they get in from 9 to 5, they should work steady, except maybe the lunch. But when you look at elite athletes, they have shifts of 45 seconds in hockey, and football is less than 10 seconds. Yeah. And these guys and girls are paid millions and millions of dollars. Tennis, which is a big passion of yours, might be different. They go at it for 2 hours, but they really care for their nutrition, their sleep also. Can we talk about sleep? Is that something that you worry about?
It's something that I'm actually starting to teach a workshop on sleep. It's been a big challenge of mine for a lot of years, and I've gotten to the point where I think I'm mastering it. And but I felt the effects. I felt the foggy memory. I felt just low energy, confusion during the day sometimes, and people don't realize the overriding impact it has on so many aspects of our life. So I'm very big on 7 to 8 hours a night.
Wow, that's a lot more than I sleep. Well, I'm trying to get to the 6.5, and a common friend of ours and we made a pact. If we go to bed before 10, not together in our separate houses, we have a good chance to wake up at the right time to do our morning practices. But if I go to bed later, then everything unravels.
Yeah, agreed.
So it's great the breakthrough you did in 19. So what's in front of you as a human in 20? What's the next thing to transform?
Non-judgment is always on my list.
That's a tough one.
I talk about it at seminars, in mindfulness, we practice non-judgment, but if you really start practicing it, on a daily minute by minute basis, it's a lifetime practice. So I'm really leaning into that, and not judging myself for not being perfect, but really working on that as a practice.
It's good. So it applies to you as well. Mm-hmm. I read before from Tara Brach. She has a new book called Radical Compassion. After Radical Acceptance, now it's Radical Compassion. And she says, as a principle, we cannot give what we don't have. We can, but we will quickly deplenish ourselves. It's like my phone. It doesn't charge at some point. If I'm drained, I know in my life, if I keep giving when I'm not so, then I just become frustrated. And all these things, why are they not giving me what I'm giving them? Stuff. So non-judgment. And how, just maybe as a practical practice, how can someone endeavor to be in non-judgment? Is there like a sequence of events? I catch myself maybe judging.
Yes, well, certainly not labeling things. The first cue is good, bad, right, wrong.
Yeah.
Whenever you find yourself saying any of those, you can step back and say, how can I look at this from a more objective point of view? Everything, to me, there's no right or wrong decision. We make a decision, there are consequences, we learn and grow, we continue on. So there's no right, wrong, there's no good, bad. It's just all part of our learning and our growth.
Mm. I mean, we are the result of our choices, our decisions, and I coach people. Not making a choice is making a choice that other people will make a choice for you.
Yeah.
And if we make a choice and keep moving, at least we have momentum.
Mm-hmm.
Then we can self-correct. You're a skier. But if we're static, it starts. It's like it starts to be really cobweb starts to develop. It's really difficult to start to move. So I agree with you that a bad decision is better than no decision at all. Just to keep moving.
Yes. So I like to use a GPS example. Mm-hmm. So, for instance, if somebody wants to find their life purpose and they've got a passion, well, take a few steps in that direction, and then you see what happens. Oh, it goes easy. It feels great. You get all these opportunities. Super. Keep going. If it doesn't, there's roadblocks and hurdles. Well, just course correct a little bit. But unless we take those steps, we don't get the feedback. It's like programming a GPS and then not moving. We don't get the, turn right at the next street. Yeah. You have to move.
I call my GPS Samantha. It's usually a woman's voice. I tell people when the first men went on the moon, the rocket at the computer, it was 97% of the time off course. It was always self-correcting. And it was actually designed by a woman who died last year. But so it's like we're driving a car. We're always moving like this with the wind and stuff.
Yeah.
So you talked about emotions. Are emotions? Can we classify emotions as good or bad? You talked about judgment, or are emotions giving us a sign of things?
Well, you caught me there because often we do say that fear or anxiety, that those are bad emotions, but we can say that they're lower vibration emotions.
Yeah.
And I think in that way we're giving them a descriptive label and saying the consequences of those lower vibrations are different than the consequences of the higher vibrations, and you can decide where you want to lean into. But I don't want to give the idea that we shouldn't feel the emotions as they come up. For instance, we talked about fear. When fear comes up, we don't want to push it away. What we resist persists. So we really want to open up and learn from and feel the fear.
Yeah. I mean, what I found is that often there are some emotions that will be considered lower vibration that need to be felt because they just point to what needs to be healed.
Right.
And if you push them down, eventually they explode, creates a crisis. So I think all emotion need to be lived, but at some point, once they're lived, you can make a different choice, to heal and all this. So Jackie, go ahead.
Do we want to do a little exercise on feeling fear?
Yes.
Okay. So I would invite you and anybody that's listening to think about a scary situation. So maybe a difficult conversation you don't want to have with somebody. If you're a speaker, maybe, thinking about stepping in front of an audience of, 1,000 people, whatever kind of triggers you in terms of a little fear. So bring that to mind. And I invite you to just close your eyes and just imagine yourself as vividly as you can in that situation. So turn your energy inward and just feel what might be happening when you think about doing what really is scary to you. Do you feel it in your gut? Do you feel it in your shoulders? Does your breath change a little bit? Tightening of the chest. And the idea is to really feel it fully. Turn your full attention to where it is manifesting in your body. And doing this without any judgment, without any resistance, just saying, okay, this is a normal part of being human. It's feeling this fear for whatever situation you're thinking about. So no resistance, just feeling it fully and going deep into wherever it's manifesting in your body. And just keep your attention there. Keep feeling and keep, in a sense, you're welcoming it. You're welcoming that feeling in your body, the tightness. And this might be a little difficult because it's counterintuitive, but just welcoming the feeling. Just being with it fully. And eventually what you'll notice is it'll just start to transform from an energy of fear or resistance or anxiety to an energy in your body. So you can open your eyes now and just, did you want to share any part of your experience? Did you feel it? Did you allow it to transform?
I felt really, really peaceful. And when you said open your eyes, I didn't feel like it.
Yeah. So I'll give you an example of what we normally do. And I did this workshop with somebody and she had panic attacks. So I took her through this exercise and, you know, she got really in touch and the fear was tightness in her chest. And she said in the past, what she's been taught to do is when she feels the panic attack coming, is to shift her attention to her breath. And to calm down her breath and calm down. And she said in the past, this hasn't really worked for her. So what we did was we did that exercise and she just kept her attention right where she felt it. She didn't turn to her breath. She was just like, and it was almost like, it was like a surrender. It was like, okay, I'm not fighting this. I'm just letting it come. And she said, just gradually it began to just fade away, to transform. And that's what it is. Fear is just an energy. And it's like when we resist it, it increases its strength and force in our body, and it wants to be heard and felt. And when we welcome it and surrender to it, it goes, okay, good. I've done my job. I've gotten her attention, and now I can let go. So it can be really, really powerful to just look at and feel the fear without any resistance, without saying, I shouldn't be feeling this. Why am I nervous? Yeah. I've done this 100 times. This is ridiculous. Just, again, back to non-judgment, just allowing it to be and feeling it until it just kind of transforms and morphs into just energy in your body.
You know, Jack Canfield says, I am the sky and the emotion is the cloud. It comes and goes, and you know, and you're absolutely right. The more I resist it, the more it's going to hang around because it just wants to be noticed and felt. And beautiful. Yeah. Last question, Jackie. Another very personal question. You know, life is very long, but in the grand scheme of things, it's very, very short, and we never know when our last breath is going to be. So, what would you love, or I guess, what would you love people to reflect on you, on your legacy? You know. What would have been your stay on earth be about? You know.
Well, I'm very passionate, as you know, about bringing consciousness to business and to leaders, and I think that if we can get enough leaders and businesses on board, that we can actually have a big impact in terms of the issues that we're facing as humans. And I love to think about helping individuals, but I think the biggest impact is if I can help leaders that impact thousands of people and impact the big issues in society, then I've got like a grand slam. So I'd like to leave a legacy of really having an impact on the leaders that are leading the charge to help the world.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
it's beautiful, and I think you're on the right path because you're actually doing it from inside yourself. You know, spending time because that's the best way. You know, I read recently that when we start to awaken, we want to change the world, like I do, and eventually we awaken some more, and then we find out that the best way to do that is to change ourselves. You know, and raise our vibration. Thank you, Jackie.
Excellent. I hope I'm leaving you with high vibrations.
Thank you so much.
All right. Bye.
Bye.